Today's video, we're going to be checking out the new Beast Kingdom's Justice League. This is the special edition black costumed Superman. If you're wondering, by the way, why he's in this specific pose in opening looks, I figured I'd have a little bit of fun with this because after all, this is the black costume version of Superman's traditional colors, and this is sort of what we were supposed to get in the original Snyder cut. Superman was supposed to be resurrected, I believe, in the black costume, and granted, yes, while he was supposed to also have a beard, it's pretty cool though that Beast Kingdom would give us a black costume version of the Superman we've already received. So let's get this review going. We're going to first grab the tape measure to figure out how tall the black costume Superman stands. To no surprise, much like the other two incarnations of him, this figure is also about 8 inches, approximately 7 3/4 inches to be exact. And for some comparisons, here he is next to his original release. This was the Batman v Superman DAH-0013, and the just recently looked at, slightly more comic-inspired colors. Here he is next to the DAH-0013SP. Now, both of these here are the exclusives and special versions of the original Superman, a little bit harder to come by. But you can see, taking one initial mold, the primary mold right here, how all three figures are so drastically different from one another. One of the more obvious ones as well, the more obvious differencing between the two, or differencing between the three, is the fact that this Superman also has, as we've already discussed, the plastic cape. Both with the DAH-0013SP, which had a cloth cape, also had the Superman logo. This one right here, the 0013, also features a cloth cape. And I hope this is an ongoing trend that we may eventually get this guy, the Justice League version of Superman, also in the traditional blue colors, but with also sporting a cloth cape. Again, I don't mind this specific cape being plastic, but it does always look as if the cape is sort of flowing. I like the natural draping nature of just a cloth cape, so I hope that at least a future release of Superman is going to possess that. The black costume special edition version of Superman does have something interesting. He's got a Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice logo across the top here, and Superman along the front. Now what's interesting about this though is I would think that they would have put the Justice League logo along the top. In fact, they probably could have used the same logo that Steppenwolf had, where it was just the Justice League font, and then you could have had Superman on the front. But instead, actually, they've gone the route of the Batman v Superman, which if I bring in the other one here, this was the 3SP version, it also has the same Batman v Superman logo and the very same Superman on the front. The neck, by this point, I'm sure you guys have all seen how the neck works, but I'll show you quickly here. It is a fairly short, about a medium length neck. Wish it would have been just a little bit longer, but it's a fairly short, medium-sized neck. It's got a ratcheted joint, a very stiff ratcheted joint. This also can rotate back and forth, really just only by the way it's pegged into the bottom. This hinges up and down. You can rotate it back and forth. Sometimes it does pop off. Shows you right there. It just pops off because it's just attached to a pin. And then this opens and closes around Superman's waist. It's effective, it's simplistic, and I like again that each of the figures that we've looked at up to this point all have a consistent trend to them. None of the bases are differentiating from one another. All of them are the exact same type, just a different logo, just a different name, but I like that they're all consistent with one another. Another familiar sight is the same series of interchangeable hands that come included with the figure. Now the hands consist of flat palms. You're also getting yourself the fighting or grabbing hands. You'll see that they are on an angle as opposed to running straight. So again, this would be good if you're having them fighting against somebody else. They could be basically hand-to-hand locked in battle. And then, of course, he's got the gripping hands, which plays a little bit into its original release, as the original 003 also included the Kryptonite Spear. Without being any extra additional accessories included with the black costume release of Superman here, the gripping hands don't really serve much purpose, but they've included them nonetheless. The Superman, like I said here, is presented in his black costume, which, based on what we've heard, was supposed to be in the original Snyder Cut. Superman was supposed to be resurrected basically in the same way that he was in the comics, in this black regeneration suit. Now, some details further add to the fact that Superman, when he was resurrected, would have also been sporting a beard. As you can clearly see by this figure, and as you clearly saw by the movie itself, they simply just resurrected him and he didn't have any facial hair whatsoever. But this is a good thought idea as to what we could have potentially gotten. It's pretty cool that we get this now from Beast Kingdom. So essentially what it is, it's pretty much the exact same costume. There's nothing drastically different between this, the original, or the lighter colored costume, other than for the fact that it is all this jet black. It's not even quite a shiny black either. It's more a matte black, and then all the areas in which would have had other colors, not blue colors, but any other colors, have been now swapped out for the silver. The silver actually works well, especially when you look at the back. There's a lot of stuff happening right here where the silver pops against the backdrop of the black. You still get the full texturing details that you came to expect with the other Beast Kingdom releases, especially on the previous Supermans, are also here as well. They're not lost amongst the fact that this is now black plastic. In fact, they resonate and stand out just as well as they did before. Again, you can see all those little cool details. Luckily, the camera is doing justice too. The silver continues all the way down its leg, and really the only area in which Superman isn't sporting either black or silver is when you start getting to the boots. The boots are almost this sort of charcoal smoke gray color, which I think works well. It's a nice counterbalance to really all the other black that you're seeing on the figure. They could have ideally made this also black too, but I think it would just been too much. Superman, at the very least, needs some contrast of colors, so I'm glad that they didn't go the route of simply just giving this black, and instead giving us this gray, this medium shade of gray instead. I don't know why, for some strange reason, the colorings here of the hinges are two different colors. Instead of them being all gray, you'll see that one side is black, one side is gray. Probably just something that was left at the time that they were painting that. I've already mentioned the fact that he does have the cloth cape. Has never looked better on Superman. It's still sort of that elasticized material that we saw with the comic version release of Superman. Very stretchy, very soft also to the touch. It almost feels like an elasticized silk, if best I could describe it. He does also have the wire frame, which runs on either side of the cape, starting at about roughly there, where the cape bunches up. It starts roughly there, and it works its way all the way down. There is one section, the section right here, where the wire has poked its way, protruded its way through the fabric, so that you can actually see the type of, it's almost like a copper wiring that they've used. I can simply just kind of pull that back and tuck it back through, and instantly it's lost, so I don't have to worry about that sticking out on a regular basis. I kind of wish that this guy could have come with some other accessories as well. Thinking it in right in my head right now, I can't even think of what I would have included with him, but at the very least, it would have been neat, and it would have involved, of course, some additional sculpting on an already great head sculpt of Henry Cavill. Would have been cool also if they incorporated a beard. Would have just added some additional sculpting to the existing mold, but it would have been nice that they could have included that too. Head sculpt, though, is still as good as it was on both releases. This is a little bit more accurately flesh-toned to how he appears in the movie versus the lighter shade on the 3SP, the 003SP Special Edition. Paint is clean. Mold is nicely sculpted. Never had any issues with the sculpt. My only biggest problem with the original release was just the plastic cape, which I can only hope for a Justice League regular version of Supes. They give us a fabric cape rather than a plastic cape. Poseability on this guy is about what you would expect if you've already had a look at these and have checked out enough of my videos. By the way, thank you for doing that. He does have a ball joint, which, again, he has one up at the top, and then a secondary one down below. Moving the neck too far back, though, does make a very apparent gap, which you can see right there. So you might want to just kind of keep the neck down, rotate the head on its own, and even like just holding the neck, didn't even really necessarily need a ball joint right there. It serves perfectly fine on its own, just having the ball joint and the head up at the top here. Get a full range of motion. The shoulders have the cup and socket. I'm just kind of going and referring to that for over the course of these videos. It's like a ball and cup socket on the shoulder, which also extends out, giving you a little bit extra clearance, allowing Superman to punch forward if you so wish, or if he wants to hide his face because he's a little embarrassed, you can do that. And then if you don't like the fact that it's got a big noticeable gap, that's okay. You just pop those back in. He has a bicep swivel, although it is a little on the tight side on this figure. He has an elbow swivel and a hinge back and forth. Hand swivel, upper torso ball joint, lower torso ball joint. The legs move forward, back, and out. And then, of course, much like the other figure releases, you just pop the legs down. Don't do this too aggressively, but bring them down nonetheless, forming a little bit of a gap, allowing the legs to go out a little bit more than what they were before. And just kind of pop those back up when you're finished. There's a swivel on the top cut of the thigh. Essentially, this swiveling is happening where the socket is attaching to the ball joint. But then he does also have a 3/4 cut on the thigh, double hinge on the knee. And while he doesn't have necessarily anything in the boot, which we've already talked about before, does have a good sufficient amount of ankle pivot, hinged back and forth, and then he does also have that bend in the foot. Once again, you've got that black and the offsetting gray. I wish that was all gray. But there you have it. There is the special edition, the DAH-0013 release of Superman, in his black colors. Now, you could simply just call him the black suit Superman. I also kind of like to refer to him as the regeneration suit. Sad that he never looked like this in the movie. Still cool, though, that Beast Kingdom would give us a release of him nonetheless. This special edition release of Superman is a bit of a stinging reminder that we're never going to get ourselves a Snyder cut. There's speculation and ongoing speculation that a cut does exist. Warner Brothers has seen it, but I don't think it's ever going to see light of day if one does exist. What do you guys think down below? Warner Brothers, I think, has already kind of packed things up when it comes to the realm of Justice League. And while there is money to be made in a Snyder Cut release of the film, I don't even think Warner Brothers really is interested in doing so. So what we kind of get here is a beautiful figure, but again, a sad figure in the sense that it reminds us of what could have been with the Zack Snyder release of Justice League. This particular figure does all the things that I really liked so well about the other two figure releases, but in a jet black color scheme. The silver pops exceptionally well on this figure, and again, I'm loving the cloth cape. Fingers crossed, and if Beast Kingdom is watching this video, I hope that they can release, if they haven't already released, a true Justice League version of Superman in the traditional blue colors, but with a cloth cape. Then that is going to be the perfect release of Superman, with really the plastic cape being the one slight hindrance that I had with that original release. Keep doing a fantastic job, Beast Kingdom. You're my new all-time favorite collectible to pick up, at least of movie tie-in figures. I hope this trend will continue as we get other DC properties released in the action figure release lineup. Also, a little side note too, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of Suicide Squad. Again, just that would be cool. I think getting this quality of figure line with a Harley Quinn and a Joker, just sort of saying. Either way though, today we were having a look at the Beast Kingdom. This was the Regeneration Suit Superman. Okay, it's just the black suit Superman, but this was the special edition DAH-0013. Much like the 003SP, the special edition in the comic colors, of course, it goes without saying that this one's a little harder to come by. So if you are looking to pick these ones up for yourself, unless you can find a dealer that's selling them, if you go to like a comic show or a toy show, for example, you may find a dealer that's selling these. Your best bet may have to be looking online. But I really would recommend picking these figures up. My personal favorites of some of the ones that we've been looking at over the last couple of video reviews, I really like the Flash. I really, really like the Aquaman, and even like the original Superman is good, even though I'm not crazy about the plastic cape. I love this figure, and I'm definitely looking forward to putting it on display with the rest of the Beast Kingdom properties, Beast Kingdom figures. I really hope that they expand the properties, giving us more and more of the DC figures in plastic form. If you guys haven't had a chance to hit that little subscribe button down below, make sure you do so. It's somewhat aggressive. You don't have to. But if you hit that subscribe button, that will guarantee you that when new videos are coming onto this channel, you'll never miss a beat. If you guys also want to go back and have a look at some of the other Beast Kingdom figure reviews that I've done a whole slew of them. There's a playlist on the channel called Beast Kingdom. It's as simple as that. Also, if there's maybe that slight possibility something's kind of eating away at you, thinking that I may have missed something that this guy has posted in the last few weeks, don't worry, don't start crying. Just head over to the main page, the main channel, the home page that is, and go to the section that says videos. Guaranteed, all the stuff that I've posted up to this point, nothing's invisible, nothing has VIP code to get you in and watch the videos. Everything is there, so feel free to check out those older videos if you might have missed out on them. As always, guys, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.